Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a very special episode of Flakemiri. We're going to call this one episode like 10.5, like the addendum episode, kind of like the, I guess, like DVD extra feature, Shinmiri. I don't know if that kind of counts, but it is, in fact, a special episode for several reasons, and one of which is that is something that you discussed recently on one of your streams. And I don't want to take your thunder for those who do not know this announcement. I'll allow you to just make it again. But before we get to that, I just want to say, how are you? How was your holiday and all that other stuff? Because we haven't really had much discourse for a little while now.
Right. It's been a couple of weeks since we did our last show. And yeah, the holidays went pretty smoothly for me. Very chill. Didn't really go out and party or anything like that. Didn't really see any people. Tried to mostly stay away from getting COVID. And we've succeeded so far. Fingers crossed. Knocking on wood, making sure I don't jinx myself. But yeah, I think we've succeeded so far and trying to keep it that way. Yeah. But yeah, holidays have been pretty chill. How about you?
They're okay. I mean, the thing about the holidays for me is that it's like the wonderment of it has kind of just subsided for and it's a thing of the past where that excitement that you once felt of like waking up on Christmas morning or whatever and whatnot. Like the fascinating part for me was the fact that like I don't really need anything, and I don't think that there's, in the grand scheme of things, there's not many. I don't need anything. I'm employed, I'm fed, and I have no debt, so like everything's good to go. Like I have a pretty damn cool life, if I do say so. So when Christmas comes, like every time that people ask me like, "Oh, what do you want? What do you want? What do you want? Or what do you need?" I'm like, I don't need anything, and like I feel bad sometimes asking. And what was funny this time was that I asked for was I told my parents, I'm like, look, if you're inclined to get me something, I just want like, I need like a really, really high-end like cooking pan, like a pan that like a chef's quality really, and like a really very good chef's knife.
I thought you were going to say a pan that cooks for me.
Oh God, no. If that exists,
that would be nice.
That would be, I mean, a butler that would come with it would be great. But one of the things that I enjoy doing is I love to cook. Like I cook after, when I used to stream in the mornings, my favorite thing to do afterwards was to like spend like an hour and a half cooking, because it was relaxing, and I'd put on a podcast and I'd just listen and I'd cook, and it's one of those activities that you get instant gratification from achieving. It's that like, okay, well, the effort you put in, you could eat it. You could actually eat your effort. So it's a really a nice activity for me. Plus food is great. But anyways, I asked my parents for this stuff, and I received a reply of, "No, you don't need that." And I was like, what? Like, I'm like, what kind of Christmas wish is this? Like, I'm always spoiled rotten, like every single time. And if there's something I want that's related to card games or something technological, I just tell my parents, I'm like, I'll get it, because I don't want you to get swindled or messed with or whatever, so I'll get it. But this time, like literally, it's like, I just want a chef's knife and a cool pan. And come Christmas morning, I was told that I can take a pan from the pantry, like of their spare pans.
Okay, yeah.
And I was told that I don't need a chef's knife. I could just use a steak knife. And I was like, okay, well, I'm like, all right, well, that was my holiday. And it was basically bookended by like 2 6-hour drives to and from Montreal. So stress is always a part of it, but the fact that I get to hang out with family and friends that I never get to really see that's to me the best part of it. That's kind of a little snapshot of what my holiday was like. And now I'm back in my cocoon in Toronto and just, I guess, riding it out until the snow melts and hopefully COVID goes away one day, maybe, possibly.
One day. Well, who knows? Yeah. It's not looking like it's going to happen anytime soon.
No, but I mean, we can all, I guess, hope and pray. But okay, so this particular episode, Shinmiri, I think we discussed, like you and I discussed privately in terms of what was going on. And when you made your announcement, you had told me, I guess, slightly prior to you telling the world, so to speak, of what this announcement was. So why don't you just tell everybody? Just go ahead, if you're listening to this podcast and you haven't already known. Shinmiri, what's the big news?
Yeah, so I announced a couple days back on my stream that my wife and I are expecting a baby in April. So pretty freaking soon, like in a little bit over 3 months, we're going to have a little baby boy. It's going to be our first kid. We're very excited, but also like anxious and scared at the same time. It's going to be a big change for us because, obviously with all the stuff that comes with that, the the extra work and the time commitment and all that. But we're very happy, and we're looking forward to it.
And that's great. And major congratulations to you, Henry. And I know I've mentioned this to you like privately. Like it fills my heart with joy. And I love you both. You and your wife. I never even met your wife. Never spoke to her. But I have so much love for you that it just kind of like it bleeds over into yeah.
I have told them and forwarded them your wishes. Your greetings, your well wishes, and I told them, the guy that I cast with, yeah, he says hi and says happy holidays to you or Merry Christmas. And my wife and my mother-in-law were both like super, like, oh my God, really? Wow, that's so nice.
Oh,
like that's so considerate that you think of them.
Well, I do, and
even though you've never, you never met them, you don't know what they look like or who they are, but yeah, still really, really touching and kind of shows what kind of character or personality you have, which is great.
Oh, I appreciate that. I don't know why, but you're right. I've never seen your wife or met her or anything. So in my mind, like I picture it's just you with a wig on. Like I don't know why.
No.
I don't know why. Like I don't know if you've ever watched you've seen the movie Home Alone, right?
Yeah.
Remember that scene where Kevin McAllister is going through Buzz's like belongings after the family's gone, and he finds a picture of Buzz's girlfriend, and it's just Buzz. It's basically in the movie. It's just a picture of the kid, like Buzz, with a wig on, and he's like, "Ugh, woof." And like in my head, I'm like, I don't know why. Like I've never seen her. I have no idea. She's probably like the most beautiful person in the world, and in my mind, I don't know why. Like I cannot get past that whole thing where it's just Shinmiri with a wig. But honestly, congratulations, and I cannot wait to be officially a distant uncle of sorts, a Canadian uncle. I mean, you need an uncle from Canada, and I think that, I mean, is that me? I would like to think it's me. I mean, that would be, so yeah, that is some significant news.
Cool. Yeah, that would be cool. Uncle Flake, Uncle Matthew. Oh, we also talked about the idea of names. You suggested Matthew Fang. I don't hate it. I don't hate it.
Listen,
I mean, we haven't decided on anything yet, so.
Well,
it could be thrown into consideration. Just saying.
I don't want to say that I've been a major influence in your life, but I'd like to think that perhaps at some point, all the Christmas cards that I've sent you over the years and such might just sort of accumulate to the fact that, hey, a good, sort of throwback to me, it would be just, name your firstborn after me, possibly. Matthew Fang's a pretty awesome. It's, you know what it is? It's Gwent season 27 world champion Matthew Fang. That's who it is. So
27. I think he'd be more like a prodigy. So I'm thinking lower, like season freaking 12.
Wow.
Season 12, he'll be like 8 years old and probably winning masters. Like, I'm going to be teaching him how to rope.
Yeah. No, son. We still have some time. But Daddy, the thing is, it's almost no, son. Go get your dad a coffee. I'll teach you all about this. That would be amazing. The rope is not burnt and then to teach him all the animation and all that stuff. But yeah, that is just incredible, man. And again, I know that you're going to be doing your best to sort of continue onward with your content creation. Obviously, your casting's not going anywhere because I would riot. I honestly would riot. I cannot find another partner that I trust for casting. So that you are locked and loaded into that, friend. That's not changing. But
yeah. So obviously with this baby and with everything, I'm going to have much less free time, right? But I still, like I said during my announcement, I still plan on creating content, streaming, hopefully casting or being an analyst at the official tournaments if they continue to want me, and I am still able to go. I would love to keep doing those things. But yeah, obviously this is going to be a lot more pressure on me in terms of time. And one of the things that I feel like I might need to cut back on is doing some of these podcasts and kind of these extra peripheral things. Not that like I love talking with you, Blake. I do, and you can hit me up on Discord anytime. I would. That offer's always open, but yeah, I think because these sort of productions, these weekly productions, it requires a schedule. It's like 1.5 hours to 2 hours of our time every week to do the production. And I'm like, I'm driving my wife to hospital visits all the time, and We got to get stuff ready for the baby. So much reading. I can't even begin to describe like how much research and everything that we need to do. So I feel like unfortunately, this is one of the things that I need to cut back on.
No, you're not wrong. And again, say it ain't so is what I want to throw out there. But the bigger picture, obviously, is the fact that life changes. So for all those out there who are listening, this is essentially the bookend of what was a 10 episode extravaganza, a journey, an odyssey, if you will, of Flake and Shinmiri doing a podcast regularly. And again, we ended last one of the previous episodes by saying, I think I mentioned, I'm like, by the end of next year, I want another 50 of these in the books. And things change, and that's okay, and that's perfectly fine. And like you mentioned, and I do appreciate you throwing out throwing out the rope there and saying, anytime you need, you just tug on the cord and I'll be there. And in the same way, this is always going to be the Flakemiri show. You always have an open door to come in and basically supplant whoever the hell is going to, I don't want to say replace you because you're irreplaceable, but I mean just sort of take up a different mantle. I have some names, some that I've spoken to, in terms of just sort of having this kind of rotating Jeopardy style host audition process. But it's going to be different because honestly, it's like you and I have this dichotomy that is this sort of we're like you said, we're like the yin yang where we just complete each other's sandwiches, and it's like that's kind of how it goes.
It is really nice. And I want to make it clear to you and our audience as well that it's not like a never coming back sort of thing. And it's totally possible that if I'm able to find some time and to schedule, and also we have like interesting topics to talk about, that I could definitely be back for like a guest episode, as long as you're doing the show, right?
I'm doing the show. Whether it'll be called Flakemiri, we don't know. It might be called something else with my name merged together with somebody else, but ultimately the spirit of the show is what's going to go on. And I've also been talking and thinking and mind bending to figure out how to keep a Shinmiri element to the show. So I think what I plan on doing, well, I'm not going to ruin it, but I have some ideas that are going to not poke fun at you, but it's going to keep the Shinmiri spirit alive for the podcast. But
all right, cool. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, it's just like the weekly commitment is a little bit too much for me now, but I had a really great time. I really did. Well, it was a blast, chatting with you about all sorts of stuff, not just Gwent, but just like life in general and whatever comes to mind.
And that's why it's the Flakemiri show is about Gwent, but so much more. And that's it. I mean, this episode is essentially that's all this is. It's we're not here to produce exactly an episode. This is essentially an opportunity for Shinmiri and I, but obviously Shinmiri to just, I suppose, break the news that obviously the biggest news is that he's going to be Papa Shinmiri shortly, but also the tragedy that is his departure from the Flakemiri podcast to go on and do bigger and better things. I suppose it is what it is. But like I said, my man, I do wish you all the love and I don't have kids. I don't know. And neither do you. So this is scary for me. And I just want to see, because you and I are more or less the same age, but we're in such different sort of, our lives are so different. And things that you're able to enjoy that I'm not, I'm just going to live vicariously through you. So this child will be, I will kind of be like the Master Yoda, just kind of watching from afar and just imparting my wisdom upon it from a distance. But my man, I do wish you so much love, and luck's not what you need. You just need support, and you have plenty of it, and I love you, man. So extend my best wishes to your wife as well.
Thank you. Will do. And I love you too, man. It's been a blast.
It has been a blast.
And of course, we're going to continue, hopefully, down the road in season 4 of World Masters.
Yes.
Continue to be caster partners in crime.
Oh, that would be great. I mean, that's not going anywhere, friends. So if you're out there wanting more Flakemiri, you just got to tune into the major tournaments. One last thing that I wanted to sort of poke out there was I have to give mad props to Vlad Tortsov for probably what is, in my opinion, one of the MVP tweets of the year.
Oh, yeah.
So when you made your announcement on Twitter, his response was something along the lines mentioning about how important carryover value is. And I thought that was so fitting. So aces to you, Vlad, because that was was such a good one.
That was great.
Well, Shin, that's the episode. Again, purely just to give these words to the viewers. I'm going to let you sort of sign us off and say what you want to say. This is the last you're going to hear of me and Shinmiri together until, I guess, open number 1 of season 4.
Yeah, and all I got to say is to the viewers, thank you for listening and watching us over the past 10, 11 episodes. It was wonderful bringing you this content and just like speaking our minds, really, and having a good time. So thank you for listening and watching. Thank you for supporting us, and looking forward to whatever comes from the evolution of this show. I will definitely continue to be a fan and a listener even after my departure. So thank you, Flake. I love you, man.